Please subscribe and like the video. Elon Musk says the issue in the future isn't overpopulation, but a declining and aging population. What is your opinion on this statement? Think about Charlie Bucket's family in Willy Wonka. There was one kid, 2 adults, and an entire country king mattress full of bedridden grandparents. Society cannot function this way. It cannot support a retired class twice the size of the working class. It's not about how big the family is, it's about who can pitch in. If there aren't enough resources to go around, that's one thing, but the conditions don't matter if the family is flip-flopped. If something happens in the Bucket household and they lose one of the parents, Uncle Joe and all his cronies are going to die. The family values mean they won't just let that happen, so the entire house is going down with them. So, we need to make sure we keep the population in a comfortable distribution of age. Else, we will have to choose between the fabric of society or culling the elderly. Uncle Joe is a bastard, so I'm for it either way. They call it the silver tsunami. The largest age group in the coming years will be people aged 65 and above, and they will remain so for decades to come. These elderly are not only illiterate when it comes to technology, in an age of which you could argue is a golden age for technology, which makes them easy targets for exploitation, scams, fake news, etc. They don't have that filter like the rest of us that basically grew up with a laptop/phone in our hands. They also put an enormous stress on the welfare system. Let me say very clearly, this is not their fault, or anyone else's for that matter. We are just born in a country, do the best with the cards we are dealt, and that's that. But yeah, it's a very big problem. Or maybe I'm wrong? I hope so. That's what I understand of it anyway. In no way, shape or form am I an expert on the subject. The fact of the matter is we simply don't need as many people anymore in developed countries. Automation and industrialization means that one person today can do the work of 100 people 100 years ago. A declining population is not a problem for new generations, it is actually a benefit for them. It is a problem for older generations whose prosperity is based on constant growth of the population. Elon Musk wasn't the first person to say this. This has been known for decades, yet no one is doing a fucking thing about it. People always wait until the last minute to do something. That's just the nature of the human condition. We always think it's not our problem, or it will never happen to us. That's the real problem. Elon is right, but he doesn't get a Nobel Peace Prize for saying it either. I think most of our problems are actually symptoms of overpopulation, and overpopulation is really the root of most of the other problems. It's like when you have the flu and you're producing a shitload of snot and coughing a ton. In this analogy, overpopulation is the flu and pollution/overfishing etc. is the snot/cough. What we are doing is just trying to blow all the snot out of our nose or treat the cough. But if we just got rid of the virus, it would stop all the other symptoms. For the sake of argument, let's say the world population is 10 million. Yes, extremely low just for proof of concept. If the population was 10 million, we could burn as much coal as we want, use as much water as we want, cut as many trees as we want, catch as many fish as we want, because the ecosystem would replace them fast enough. Most of our problems aren't really a problem at a smaller scale. The atmosphere can take some pollution and be okay. Volcanoes. Trees can be cut down, and the forest will replenish. Fish could be farmed to heart's content. What's happening to us is what happens to any other animal on the planet when they start unbalancing their ecosystem. For example, if a forest gets overpopulated with wolves, then they will start to run out of prey and the wolf population starts decreasing again. I think overpopulation is absolutely a problem. I feel like 90% of our other problems are a result of overpopulation, just some random redditor. I definitely don't know for sure. I'll happily listen to why this line of thought is wrong on mobile, so sorry for formatting/mistakes. An aging population is only a, relatively, on a scale of several decades, short-term local economic issue. Overpopulation is a global and a long-term issue. A big problem is how the main source of overpopulation is developing countries, who don't actually give a crap about it. One day we'll have a much more stable and evenly distributed population, and at that point, we should stop having these issues. He's not wrong, but he's also not exactly right. It's not that we are going to run out of space for people. We just can't support the amount of people we have currently for long. Our population WANTS* is not sustainable right now, and until our reliance on tech that doesn't squander more resources from Earth than it can regenerate, then we are considered overpopulated right now. I like to think of the issue as thousands of fish in a small tank. We may live and have new fishes for generation after generation, but our natural bacteria-filled filter cannot sustain or keep up forever. We may keep the same population until the end, but eventually the fish will slowly die when the water becomes too poisonous with ammonia. I took a food economics course a few years ago, and one of the interesting things is that we easily produce enough food to feed the whole world, just so much is wasted that we don't. Civil wars cause a lot of food waste as well, since either side burns/destroys the other's crop. Poor storage methods also wastes a lot of food. We can't environmentally all live like Westerners with our replace it and throw it out attitudes. But if we were accept a lower standard of living, then yes, we could have more people and it not be a problem. The problem is less how many people there are, but more the resource usage of those people. And the biggest factor there is economic inequality. There is more than enough wealth, that is resources available for human use, to give everyone a decent and productive life. The problem is, most of it is concentrated in a few dozen hands, which wastes most of that wealth. And on the other hand, there are billions of people who don't have the resources to put their minds and hands to use in any productive way, wasting their potential. Hey, affordable housing possibly comes with declining and aging population. If ya don't want that, just give us affordable housing and childcare. Some of us are looking for stuff to be affordable, but when living isn't affordable, like the rise in housing costs, but the minimum wage never moving for 30+ years or so, the population decline is inevitable, just like Thanos, mostly because we can't afford to buy a house and raise 2 children. The only people I know around my age having children are mostly people who made bad decisions. Issue of the future is Elon Musk and his friends hoarding wealth. Overpopulation isn't a problem if all people use as much resources as the median human. Even in the West, overpopulation becomes a problem when the uber-rich spend more and cause more pollution than a few countries. With the wealth Musk and others have stolen from their employees, even an aging population could be sustained. Please subscribe and like the video.